Okay, this is just for the benefit of the video. The angle of elevation and the angle of depression, you can see what they are on the board. They are the same because they are alternate interior angles.
Cannot name the board. Oh, that's good. You're weird.
Okay, so we have a person standing 53 feet from a turbine, a wind turbine. We are told, please listen, we are told that the angle of elevation is 56.5. We are told that your eye level is 5.5 feet above the ground. In other words, the dude here is 5.5 feet. And you can see we are 53 feet away. He is standing 53 feet away. What we want to know is how high is the turbine from the ground to its hub. This problem's a little tricky because you got to think about it. Okay, so first thing you have to understand is which trig ratio should we use? Don't raise your hand, I'm going to call on you. Gabby, which trig ratio should we use to figure out the height of the turbine? I'll even put up SOHCAHTOA. Yes, we want to find x. Why do you say sine? I don't know. Eve, do you know?
I have
No clue. Larry, cosine. Why do you say cosine?
No, I mean tangent.
Tangent. Why is it tangent, Larry? Which, those of you who either don't know or it said something other than tangent, here's my hypotenuse. What do I know about the hypotenuse in this problem? What do I know? It's not x.
It's opposite and right.
We don't know anything about it. No, x is here. No. So, since we don't know anything about it, we can't use it in a math problem. So the only side we know about is the side opposite the angle and the side adjacent to the angle. So what we write is we write tangent of 56.5 is equal to opposite over adjacent. Now, what do I need? Now I want to solve for x. Brianne.
Yes.
Do you know what I should do now? What you said to do is actually correct, but you jumped ahead of steps. First thing I want to do, does anybody know what the first thing I want to do is? Tyler? No. Well, you could, but you don't really need to. Nope, too early. Alan? Not 53 over 53. Micaiah? Too soon. Okay, the first thing I want to do Yes. First thing I want to do is get rid of the fraction. So the way I do that is I'm going to multiply both sides by 53. So I get that x is equal to 53 times the tangent.
As soon as I get to there,
Okay, the next step is to figure out what the tangent of 56.5 is. So you go to your calculator, and you're going to click on, well, I guess you have to go to Scratchpad and calculate. Now you go to your trig functions, you go to tangent, and you put in the value, which was what, 56.5? You put in 56.5, it gives you 1.51084. You multiply that. Notice on the calculator, you don't have to retype your answer. All you have to do is type multiply, and the calculator will say the answer. Times that by 53. Your answer is 80.07. Don't round. You can round this to 80, yes. Now, so we got that x is equal to 53 times 1.51. We got that x is equal to 80. But, and this is the twist. At this point, that's 53 feet away. What do we have to take into account? We have to take into account the guy's height. The guy is 5.5 feet tall. So you add it, you get 85.5 feet. Yes. Absolutely. Okay, does anybody have any questions? Okay, now I'm going to describe another problem, and then you're going to work on it. What? Okay, so in this question, you see a rock climber on a cliff at a 32-degree angle of elevation. Your eye level is 6 feet above the ground. You are 1,000 feet from the base of the cliff. Looks like this. The angle of elevation is 32. You are 1,000 feet from the rock. And eye level, this is your eye level. And remember, you are 6 feet above the ground. My question is, how high is the rock climber from the ground? Okay, so basically we have a plane that is approaching a runway at an airport, and it says here that the pilot has to start a 3-degree descent from a height of 2,714 feet. It says that the airport is 1,007 feet above sea level. We want to know how far away from the runway is the plane. Okay, so this is what the picture looks like. What you want to do is you want to make a triangle. Okay, so you're going to draw a line here and make a triangle. This is a right triangle. So we need a couple of pieces. Well, we want to know how far the plane is from the airport. So this is what we're going to be solving for.
How high are we?
We are told that the pilot has to start making his descent at 2,714 feet. Right? So the plane is 2,714 feet up, but we are told that the airport itself is 1,007 feet off the ground. So to get the value to plug in here, we don't want to know how far it is from the plane to the ground. We want to know how far it is from the plane to the airport. So this line is actually 1,000 feet above, the airport is 1,000 feet above sea level. So what we're going to do is we're going to subtract the difference. We're going to subtract where the plane is, and from that we're going to subtract the amount of height that the airport is, and that's going to give us 1,707. And that's what's going to be over here, 1,707. Okay, again, the plane is 2,700 feet off the ground. So here's the ground. The plane is 2,714 above the ground. But the airport is above the ground. From the ground to the airport is 1,007. Okay, so to get the distance from the plane to the ground, we subtract the total amount of feet. We subtract this, the distance from the ground to the airport, from the total. And that's where the 1,707 comes in. Now, the problem's going to be thus sent now. We know that the angle of depression is the same as what? It's the same as the angle of elevation. So, now, which trig function are we going to use?
Tan. Actually, we're going to use cosine.
Actually, we're going to use sine.
Yeah, what?
Why are we going to? Here's the angle. We have the hypotenuse. And this 1707, is that next to the 3 or across from it? It's across from it. It's opposite. So you're going to set up the sine of 3 is equal to 1707 divided by x. Opposite over hypotenuse. Yes, sir. Good. What we're going to do is multiply both sides by x to get rid of the x's on this side. So I get x times the sine of 3 is equal to 1707. Now it's an algebra problem. I'm going to divide both sides by the sine of 3. These are going to cancel out. Go to my calculator. I do 1707. 1707 divided by, go over to sine of 3. I hit enter. It gives me 32,616 feet. The question said to the nearest tenth of a mile. To convert feet to miles, we do what?
Divide.
Divide by, does anybody know how many feet in a mile?
5,280.
5,280. we get 6.17. We round that to the nearest tenth of a mile. The plane is about 6.2 miles from the airport. Okay, so this gives us that x is equal to 32,616. Divide that by 5280. We get 6.2. And since it's a word problem, you must put the units. Okay, does anybody have any questions? Okay.